Hey guys, so even though the anniversary is now done, I do want to keep doing pretty consistent discussion videos. So this is just going to be an all-purpose discussion video talking about anything Legends related you wanted to say. Doesn't have to be an opinion, could just be a thought on the game, pretty much anything related to the game in any way. So we're just going to go through some of these responses, see what people are talking about. I am bracing myself for some pretty interesting responses. Social media has definitely been interesting. I guess we'll just say interesting. It's definitely been interesting the past few weeks here. So we'll see what people say here. Nas, what is he just complaining about? Yeah. I mean, this is a fair take, right? I mean, you don't need to play the game if you don't enjoy it. Legends needs to be more like the ending to DK Bonanza. So I streamed this whole game. Actually still, as I'm recording this, I still have to do the post-game cleanup stream where I just go back and basically finish 100%ing everything. Pretty close to it. So what happens is after you clear the story, there are more collectibles that spawn throughout the worlds, the levels. So I'll have to go back and collect those, but the ending to DK Bonanza, like actually I'd rate it an 11 out of 10. And I don't know if there's another game I really would give an 11 out of 10 to for the ending. I wouldn't give the game a 10 out of 10 overall. It's pretty close. It's like a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. It's very, very good. But specifically the ending was, I want to say, the best ending to any game I've ever played. It's actually that good. So yeah, I recommend this game if you've not played it. And if you like Donkey Kong, if you like Nintendo games, this is an insanely good game. Legends needs a better pity system for ultras. I agree. I'm on board with this. Legends limited tickets are worthless for 90% of the player base. I don't agree with this. Legend. So he's talking about I believe he's talking about the tickets that you get from summoning on the Legends limited step-up banners, the ones that you exchange your summon coins for. This is certainly not true. If you run the numbers, there's actually, you end up getting on average a higher amount of Z power for the new character off of tickets than anything else. I think there's an argument you can make where it's like the ability to choose the Legends limited Z power, so you can give multiple different characters Z power, like that being better than buying the tickets. I can understand that for sure. But if you're just simply talking about the new character, the tickets are the best way to do this. The fact that you can go 50,000 plus for one ultra copy is pretty ridiculous. Yes, we are 7 years into the game. We should have the ability to pity out all the units we summon for. I agree. I think, yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody would disagree with this one. I have been asking and parading for summon coins on ultra banners for years, and I'm still waiting. You want me to go knock on the door and tell them to add them? Like, I've been talking about this for a long time. They clearly are very, very, very hard-headed and not wanting to change the ultra banner format. So I guess it's just going to take time. I'm not sure. I wish the devs would take more firm stances on not allowing power creep to happen. That is impossible. Not allowing power creep to happen. It's just a matter of controlling it better. It's never going to not happen. For reference, look at how units from this year have aged. I think units should have a minimum 6-month lifespan of being meta, but not oppressive. 6 months of being meta, but not oppressive. So let me actually, I forgot to open this page here. How would we classify meta, but not oppressive? I think that's kind of subjective, right? If you ask somebody, do you guys consider Majin Vegeta to be oppressive? I wouldn't consider him to be oppressive right now, but I think there's probably a lot of people that would say he's still oppressive. Same thing with like when this guy existed last year in the meta. Same thing with like Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Like, what actually constitutes a character being oppressive? I'm not exactly sure. I think a big culprit of that was this guy, Super Saiyan 3 Goku. There was a long period of this guy being essentially at the top of PvP where he started a combo on you and you basically just put your phone down and watched a movie. That's basically how this character worked. My typical philosophy when it comes to having a character be dominant, like, do you guys consider being dominant and being oppressive the same thing? I don't. I think oppression and domination are different. So what's a good example of this? A unit that I would consider to be oppressive is Majin Ku. He also was dominant, but if, for example, right now, Majin Ku was still being used widely, which he's not, but let's just assume he was still being used widely. Him being used right now, even though he wouldn't be a dominant character, I'd still consider him to be oppressive because of the way that the character is designed and how he works with the paralysis and the force disrupt and all those things. This is an oppressive character, but he wouldn't be dominant. My philosophy for dominant characters is I think it's fine to basically let them run amok and be super dominant for 2 months, and then once 2 months have passed, you release a counter for the character. That's something I've been saying for a long time, and I remember specifically talking about this with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta last year. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta ran the game from July all the way until Tree of Might Goku dropped. Tree of Might Goku was, you know, a decent counter to Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but he didn't shut him down to the level of essentially making him worthless. So I thought actually their design philosophy with this Tree of Might Goku was pretty good because he was a good character individually. He, you know, helped kind of put in check the strongest character that existed at the time of this guy coming out. And, you know, it wasn't really, I wouldn't really consider this guy to be an oppressive character until Turles dropped. Once Turles dropped, the combination of this guy plus Turles, that certainly was what I would consider to be an oppressive combination. That also was a dominating combo, right? This is an example of a character that was oppressive and dominating at the time when he came out next to Turles. But yeah, like 2 months of a character essentially having like no checks and balances pretty much, I think is okay, especially when we're talking about Part 3 Ultra Anniversary characters. Like I expect Full Power Frieza and this Goku essentially to be running the game most likely until like September, I think is probably fair. And that's the same thing we saw with Gogeta last year. What about like other anniversary ultras, like the 5th anniversary Ultra Vegito Blue? They dropped the LF Namek Goku. He was August. That Namek Goku dropped at the end of August. He was, again, kind of like a Tree of Might Goku style counter, where he was good against Vegito Blue, but he didn't completely shut him down. And then later on, they dropped Ultra Janemba, who just completely stopped this character 100%. So I feel like that's kind of the same timeline we're going to see with the Namek Goku and Full Power Frieza here. It's probably going to be like a 2-month unprecedented, not unprecedented, 2-month unchecked run of these two guys kind of rampaging. And then we're going to get, you know, I don't know, LF, I don't even, who we're going to, LF Lord Slug drops. And LF Lord Slug is like an LF Super 17 level character, but he's purple and he just utterly destroys this Frieza. Like, it's possible, and that drops in September. I could see it potentially, but for like 2 months I would say characters typically have decent reign over the game, especially when we're talking about like big celebration headlining characters. Remove the green Tournament of Power map from PvP. Yeah, this is to me this is a level of incompetence from them. I'm not sure if it's my device, but I've also seen a lot of people talking about this being a huge issue for them. I have an iPhone 15 Pro Max. So it's a pretty recent phone. It's, you know, I wouldn't say a phone designed specifically for gaming, but I don't think many people downloading and playing this game have a phone specifically designed for gaming. Like if you actually pulled data from all of your users on this game, if Legends did this, what percentage of players do you think are actually using like specifically gaming phones to play the game? It's gotta be like 1% or less. It's gotta be like minuscule. And if my device, which I would consider to be a pretty good device, 15 Pro Max, I mean, it's not the newest model, 16 exists, but it's still pretty recent, only like a year and a half, 2 years old, something like that. If that phone is experiencing huge performance issues, specifically on the green Tournament of Power map, and I basically don't really have many issues on every other map, right? We have the Namek map, we have Destroyed Namek, we have the purple Tournament of Power map, we have the Saiyan Saga like Wasteland map. Nothing really too pressing in terms of performance issues on those other maps. So there's clearly an issue with the green Tournament of Power map, and to make matters worse, with them releasing Kefla this week, essentially they're trapping us into only getting the green Tournament of Power map until next week, which I am praying hopefully they shift away from that. And I don't know why they don't do anything about this. There's clearly something with the map that is wrong, right? There's no way it's just that map that has major issues and no other map does. There's got to be an issue. I mean, there's clearly something wrong with it. So I don't know. This is probably one of the, honestly, people probably aren't agree with this. This is probably one of the bigger problems with the anniversary, honestly, is this specific map. It really takes away from the experience. I really do think that is the case. As someone who just started playing Dokkan during the 10th anniversary, the game seems to be way more generous when it comes to giving out free stuff. Yeah, I mean, nothing that Legends has done matches the free LR, for sure, from the 10th anniversary. But remember, Dokkan has only done that once. It's possible that when Legends gets to its 10th anniversary, it will also do this. But I think when it comes to Dokkan and Legends, people have to understand that the games have much different monetization structures. When it comes to Legends, I think people are much more likely to settle for one copy of a character. People are much less likely to continue summoning on characters once they've pulled one copy of the character. And, you know, this is something I know for a fact. People, the demographic of people who play Dokkan is older, and they're more likely to be spending money on the game. Like, there's a reason that Dokkan just earns ridiculous amounts of money every single celebration without really doing anything, going out of their way to do really anything. It's just because people spend money on the game, right? I'm guilty of it, but it's just the demographic is different. It's a much different audience of players as opposed to Legends. Legends is a younger audience. It's more kids who can't, you know, don't have an income. They can't spend money on the game freely like players who play Dokkan can. It is a different demographic, and there's certainly overlap. Of course, they're both Dragon Ball games. I think they're both going to attract similar audiences to a certain degree. But I know this, that there is a massive portion of Dokkan's player base that does not overlap with Legends and does tend to spend way more money on Dokkan, just because of, you know, being older, having income, stuff like that. Also, we need a break from episode campaigns. Maybe. I used to not like the episode campaign format, but I think recently they've actually done a better job with it. We'll see what they do for August. I'm recording this on August 1st, so we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, in terms of when it comes to generosity, the reason why there's a difference there is because Dokkan can afford to do things like that, and people will still be spending money on the game. Not as much for Legends. That's just the reality. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's open this up. Majority of the complaints we had for the past couple of years, we heard and implied this year. I don't know, what does this mean? We heard and implied this year. I don't know what that means. One of them was balancing units. However, this doesn't give major celebration characters to overpower monthly celebration characters. But this has been the case for forever. Introducing the ground battles is great, but do hope they can utilize and expand more on it, like having ultimates breaking the battlefield rather than getting tossed to the sky and ground. Yeah, this I agree with this. Getting I guess implementing unique animations that utilize the area of the map that you're in is something that I think they should definitely do, for sure. Unique abilities on where they are, like fusing into Gogeta on ground. Yeah, this I think this is good. This makes sense. But the balancing thing has been the case forever. All right. How do you feel about the way that they're going with Legends and their new philosophy with damage guard and the damage inflicted? Let me read the whole thing first, then I'll come back to this. Also, it appears they want to focus on Universe 6. They might as well give us this free Pee-wee, Dr. Rhoda. You will know the rat. What does he say? Like, my special ability or whatever, and they never gets to actually do anything. Zenkai Vados and Yellow Hit, and give us a new Blue Kaioken LF Goku or a new LF Hit with Rage Switch. Universe 6 Namekians. I would like a LF Kaioken Goku from the Universe 6 tournament. This is a character that I've been waiting for a long time. They gave us this character. This was like a post first anniversary unit. I don't remember the exact order. I think it went first anniversary, Blue Kaioken Goku, and Yellow Hit. And then I think it was the Namek Goku Full Power Frieza banner, I think is what happened. But it was crazy. It was like yellow Blue Kaioken Goku, Yellow Hit, and then yellow Full Power Frieza. So many yellow characters. I'm 100% down for this, for sure. I think if they were going to do this sometime soon, though, they probably wouldn't have given Ultra Hit his platinum equipment during the anniversary. If they knew this was coming up, they probably would have waited for that. But yeah, I definitely, this is my favorite fight from Super, so I want this for sure. Let's go back to this. How do I feel about the way they're going with damage guard and the damage inflicted stuff? I am a little bit conflicted because they have increased it so much that it becomes tough to use characters that are older than like 6 months old. Like if we go back, what is a character that is 6 months old? A character like, let's just go back a little bit. A character like Instant Transmission Goku, a character like Future Gohan and Trunks, a character like Diamond Goku, Vegito Blue, Super Saiyan 3, like the Legends Fest era, sort of like, and then like a month or so beyond that. Even like Daima. Have you guys fought Daima teams recently? Like, I don't. It's like getting a flea landing on you. Like it's like a fly landing on your arm. Like that's what it feels like fighting the Daima team. Like it's not an issue at all. They have quickly, again. I mean, I bring this. It feels like every video now I bring this up, but I bring this up because it illustrates the problem perfectly. They dropped this character. Okay, I mean, they after this, they buffed him. This used to be 130%, right? We went into April. This was the beginning of their new design philosophy where, you know, okay, we're going to be focusing more on specific abilities for characters. We're going to be more focused on characters that do less intricate things. They're going to be focused on their own specific roles, whether they're going to be damage, whether they're going to be tanks, whether they're going to be supports, whatever it is. And in order to make up for characters having less in their kits, we are going to increase their base stats in the form of damage and damage guard. So they dropped Demon King Piccolo with 130% damage guard. And just for reference, I think the best way to illustrate this is if we go and take a look at like third form Frieza, the free-to-play character. Where's that third form Frieza? See if I can find him. I could just do right here. Third form Frieza. This is a free character who dropped in July. So this is a character who dropped basically almost 3 months after Demon King Piccolo. Free character. He drops with 130% damage guard. And then he gets extra 30% damage guard when he's next to a certain other character, which, I mean, this is always going to be up no matter what, pretty much. So this guy's at 160% damage guard as a free-to-play character just 3 months after this guy dropped with 130%. They retroactively went back and buffed this guy to 160%, but even post-buff, this third form Frieza, free character, still has the same amount of damage guard as Demon King Piccolo. So clearly, again, the reason I bring this up constantly is because clearly there is some problem with them understanding how the values of damage guard and damage inflicted really work in the game. So they dropped that newsletter where they were like, oh, you know, most people don't understand what, you know, sustained damage cut means and how it works with damage inflicted. I don't think you know what it does. I don't think you understand it. Because if you did, this wouldn't be like this. Okay? And guess what? They drop a character like this. I don't know where he is. I'm looking for Frost. Here we go. They drop a character like this. Frost has 170% damage guard, 30% damage guard against Saiyans. This guy's got 200% damage guard against Saiyans. He's red. This guy gets crushed by Namek Goku. Type disadvantage Saiyan. He gets crushed. We are past this. We're past this. You know what? Guess what? Guess what? This is a joke. This is like free to play character level. I think the next free to play character we're gonna get is gonna have 170% damage guard. The next free character that should, I think the next free to play character is gonna drop in 4 days on the 6th. The next free to play character is gonna drop on August 6th. The free to play character is probably gonna have like the same damage guard as this Anniversary Part 1 headlining character. And the reason why is because they can't find that balance between the damage that characters are doing and the amount of damage guard that characters should have. So that's one issue. Another issue that I was going to talk about, I guess I might as well talk about it now. Let me just X out of all these tabs. Okay, so they started their new, outlook on designing characters in April. And starting in April, we got Demon King Piccolo, damage character. Tambourine, damage, and then support secondary. Kid Goku, damage character. Jackie Chun is kind of, I guess I would consider him to be like a disrupting damage character. He's more of a damage character. He doesn't really take hits too well. Part 1 of Anniversary, UI Goku, damage/stall character. Evolution Blue Vegeta is damage, I guess. Kale and Caulifla, damage/disrupt character. Kaba, support, and then damage secondary. Okay, that's part 1. Part 2, we have Kaioken Goku, damage, and then disrupt secondary. Vegeta, we have damage and I guess kind of like an all-around style character. I do like this Vegeta still. I just think he's kind of been tossed to the side a little bit just because this guy kind of just fulfills the same role that he does on any team you would want to use him on, essentially. But I do like this character, so I think he's fairly good. But this guy's damage primary, and then he's kind of just like, second life mechanic, disrupty secondary. That's kind of what I'd say. Tien is kind of like a mixed damage and support, kind of like a mixed role here. Nappa, this was an experimental character. I'm kind of okay with the way that they designed him just because this is their first crack at this mechanic that's much different than anything we've seen before. But Nappa is kind of just like a damage. That's it, I would say, but I'm not a huge fan of the way this guy is. So that was Nappa. Part 3, Namek Goku is damage and then secondary support. And then we have, I'll come back to Frieza in a second. We have Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, damage, and then I guess support secondary. She only supports damage guard for Universe reps. Frost is, I would say, support primary, even though he's labeled as a melee type, and then damage secondary, which is terrible. I wish they wouldn't have done that with this guy. Then we come to Full Power Frieza. Full Power Frieza is damage primary, tank secondary. Do you guys notice anything about every single character that's come out since their design philosophy has changed? Every single character since April that's dropped have all either been damage, support, or just straight up disrupt. There is no tank character at all. None. Zero. The only character you can kind of label as a tank is Ultra Full Power Frieza, and that's one of the reasons why I think this guy is as good as he is. It's not just the active gauge, it's not just his damage, although those are very, very powerful things. It is the fact that he can at least take hits. And actually another character that can do that I didn't really talk about because it's more of a buff to an existing character, but it's Ultra Super Vegito. Ultra Super Vegito, I actually would say, is tank primary. So that's a very valuable thing about this guy. But that's one of the issues that I see here is we can have characters that have 230% damage guard or characters that have, whatever. It's also about how the characters are designed. Do they have the ability to take hits? A character like Kefla, I actually really like the way that Kefla is designed because this is exactly what they were talking about when they came up with the new design philosophy. Kefla is purely an offensive character. She doesn't take hits well. She's not really disrupting that much. I mean, she got like very minimal amounts of disrupt, which is fine. I mean, what they're trying to go for is not a character having really insane damage, really insane tanking, really insane disruption. Like that's what the game used to be. But Kefla essentially being 95% focused around just dealing damage is basically what the whole design philosophy is supposed to be. The only problem with Kefla's release is that's not what the team needed, right? Kefla is a very good designed character in terms of what they're trying to go for with this new design philosophy. But we have damage dealer, damage dealer, damage dealer, damage dealer, damage dealer on Universe reps. And then this guy's kind of like a support / damage dealer. So like that's not what we needed for the team. But I think in terms of Kefla's design, I do actually like this a lot. I think the main culprit for this team, and many people I think would agree with this, is Evolution Blue Vegeta. If it was up to me, I think they would. If I was like, okay, how do we fix the universe rep situation right now? I would simply just drop a unique equip for this character and give him like 80% damage guard. Boom, problem fixed. Because now you have a really solid team of a character that is like specifically designed to be a tank. We have a character that's specifically designed to be a damage dealer, and then you could throw on like UI Goku, who's a good damage dealer but also a good stalling character. Or you could throw on someone like Frost, I guess, who's a support / damage, but I just don't like this character's design at all. But we need roles for each need for the team, right? So Universe Reps comes out, we have damage. That's why the team is not like super great right now. Saiyan Saga comes out, we have really good damage dealer and like a decent disrupt character. Really good damage dealer, okay disrupt character with a second life, and like a decent damage dealer and a supporting character with a second life. That's why this team works, because we have multiple roles fulfilled on this team. That's why Saiyan Saga prevailed over the Universe Rep team. And that's why the Frieza Saga team is just so dominant right now. Obviously, given the fact that both the Ultras are super cracked. We have Namek Goku, who's incredibly good with damage, but he's also healing and he's supporting with the KO guard mechanic. Full power Frieza, incredible damage. He's got probably the most broken mechanic in the game with the active gauge for now, and he's got some pretty decent tanking capabilities, especially paired up with Krillin, who's giving the team extra damage guard, damage inflicted, and health restoration. So the team just flows really well because you have every role on the team fulfilled. That's what's good about the Frieza Saga team. That's what was good about the Saiyan Saga team, and that's what is lacking from the Universe Rep team. So I think it's probably less so about the actual numbers. I would agree that the damage is a very long-winded answer, but it's less about the actual numbers, and it's more so about how you're filling the gaps in what the teams need every time you buff the team. Although I think the numbers also need to be tweaked too, right? We can't go from 130% damage guard in April to July, Namek Goku drops and he's got like 250% damage guard. Like you're almost doubling the, like, so what, in Legends Fest are we gonna get a character with 390% damage guard? Is that what we're gonna get? Like, that's because that's the trajectory that we're on here. By the way, another stat that they have not really touched, ironically this Vegeta actually does have this. Another stat they can really leverage to have older, like if you have an older character in the boost system specifically, I think what they should do with the boost system is they recently changed it to have it's like, what is it, Z tier is like 120% extra damage, then they get 70% damage guard. What I think they should do is they should also have this. This is a super important stat right now. This is the way to get older characters relevant. Give them like, I don't think it needs to be anything insane. Give them like 25-30% damage guard penetration. At least give them a chance. At least give them a chance to get through, Namek Goku with 250% damage guard, because if you don't have the damage to surpass that, you're doing zero. You're doing nothing. So damage guard penetration, I think, is a stat that they just really haven't utilized at all. And I think it's a shame that they haven't done that, because that's something they can definitely leverage to get these older characters back into the game and be relevant again. Okay, super long answer, but that's kind of how I think about this right now. Why do you think they're so hesitant with releasing more LF/non-LF Zenkais? Petition to remove RR from Proud. I don't think they're ever going to do this, because there's too many characters that are balanced around the mechanic. I don't know. I don't have an answer to this. I don't. This to me is the biggest. Well, personally, I think part 1 of the anniversary was the biggest issue with the anniversary, but I think most people think that the lack of Zenkais during the anniversary was the biggest issue with the anniversary. I think that's a fair, like, that's completely fair. I don't have an argument against that. We needed like 2 to 3 more Zenkais in the anniversary for sure, 100%. But yeah, specifically LF Zenkais. I talked about this in the August calendar video, actually. But if we go to Zenkai only, LF only, this is what happened this year. The year starts immediately. First reset of the year. LF Yellow Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta gets a Zenkai. Tag Blue Goku and Vegeta get a Zenkai. Instantly. So we were looking pretty good. Everybody's thinking, okay, here's finally the year 2025 where we are going to catch up on LF Zenkais, because we have been behind for a long time, and we still are behind by a lot on LF Zenkai characters. So that happened at the beginning of the year in January. Then we enter February. First, I think it was actually the first week of February, we got the Zenkai for LF Purple Cell. Really good. Oh, the character was kind of just like fine. I don't think he was like exceptionally good. He wasn't bad. But at least the pacing of us getting LF Zenkais was very good. The next LF Zenkai after Cell was this guy in the anniversary. So we're talking 3.5 months later. More, actually. We get a Zenkai for the Revival UI Sangoku. 3.5 month gap in between the LF Zenkais. And then since this guy's gotten a Zenkai Awakening, we have yet to get our next LF Zenkai character. So we've gotten 4 LF Zenkais this year, and we are in August. The 8th month of the year. We've had 4 LF Zenkais. By the way, 2 of them released at the same time. So I don't know. I do not have an answer. I don't have an answer. I don't know. Don't know. Where is the uniqueness of characters gone? We have gone a whole celebration about the characters fundamentally have anything different, and it's make the game boring. I would agree with this for part 1 of the anniversary. So let's go back here. And this is actually my biggest issue with the anniversary is part 1. Character-wise, fine. I obviously Mastered UI Goku is one of the most popular characters in Dragon Ball. Evolution Blue Vegeta is just, you know, a God Key Vegeta is always going to be popular. I actually don't think it should have been Vegeta. I think it should have... I think it probably should have just been one banner with both of them on it. I'm actually leaning towards now. If I could go back and redo how part 1 was, I would just put Vegeta on Goku's banner. If they were going to separate these characters, you know what you do on Vegeta's banner? You don't drop Kaba, you drop Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, 1% sparking. You drop Blue Gogeta, 1% sparking. Like, you gotta drop something crazy. And that's what they did in the 3rd anniversary, right? They dropped Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta as the LF of the 3rd anniversary next to Fusion Zamasu. On Gogeta's banner, you had Nova and Ice Shenron. And then on Zamasu's banner, you had Kefla and Vegito Blue. Because they clearly were trying to boost interest in the Zamasu banner. I think that's what you had to do for Vegeta. Regardless, Mastered UI Goku is good enough to carry a part of the anniversary for sure. The problem was the fact that they did not come out with any new mechanics, and we are directly comparing the start of the 7th anniversary to the start of the 6th anniversary. No contest, you lose. It's not even close. The first ever fusing characters, Blue Gogeta, Super Vegeta, let's just put it this way. Even if the characters didn't fuse, if they just dropped Blue Gogeta as a standalone character and Super Vegito as a standalone character as part 1 of the 6th anniversary, that's still better than this. Still better. But they had the new mechanics, which really pushed it way, way, way over the edge. So the fact that Goku and Vegeta did not have any new mechanics is the main reason why I personally have the biggest issue. My biggest issue with the anniversary is part 1. The lack of anything super innovative in part 1. My theory, and I don't have anything to prove this, but this is just what I think. They tried to get the dynamic area battle system in for part 1, and they just couldn't do it for some reason. I don't know why. It's very obvious they had the map ready to go. In fact, they had the 2 maps ready to go. The green, even though I don't like the green turn of power map because there's obviously something wrong with it, at least they had it ready to go, and they had the purple turn of power map ready to go. So there's clearly something that went on that I think prevented them from being able to put that out in part 1. But when it comes to part 2 and part 3, part 2, there's like no super crazy innovative thing between Goku and Vegeta. They do have the unique clash animation, which I think actually the part 3 character should have had as well, but they changed the entire game in part 2. I'm gonna give this, sure, I would have liked if Kaioken Goku and Vegeta had something interesting and like new about them that separated them from every other character in the game. Sure, like of course I would want that, but this is the biggest update of all time by far. The dynamic area battle system. I'm gonna give them a pass for part 2 because not only visually did it change everything about the game, but the way that you actually play the game entirely changed for everybody. It's not something specific to, oh, Goku has this new mechanic or Vegeta has this new mechanic. If you don't summon for these characters, or you do and you don't pull them, at least you have this entire brand new system to experiment with and have fun with. So I'm going to give them a pass on part 2 for these characters. Part 3, certainly with Goku, this does not apply to Goku. We have gone a whole celebration without the characters fundamentally have anything different. KO Guard is like the most unique thing we've gotten in this entire anniversary. And honestly, what mechanic have we gotten in the past year that rivals KO Guard in terms of uniqueness? It's probably just the synchro gauge, right? It's probably just a synchro gauge. What else have we gotten? Synchro gauge, right? It's literally just that. Succession mechanic? It's just a revive, right? KO Guard is like the coolest new mechanic. And then obviously the active gauge existed already with Beast Gohan, but this is a reimagining of how the active gauge works. So this opens the door for them to repurpose the active gauge for different use cases moving forward. It's not a brand new mechanic, but I think it's innovative enough for this. But I think more so than anything else with the Ultra characters, they just look insane. The animations, the arts, everything about the reveal, everything about part 3 is just, I really don't see how you really could improve it that much. The only thing I would say is they should have had a unique Clash animation for sure. All right. I generally hope that one day they'll start taking community feedback. I think the way that it works is like they do the surveys, they look at, comments on social media, but at the end of the day, they just do what they think works the best. They've made some excellent decisions on their own, but if they actually listen to players consistently, I honestly believe the game would be 20 to 30% better. Maybe it's obvious. It's obviously just much more internally based, right? It's like, sure, like they could listen to the player base and do X or Y, but what if that actually ends up making the game worse? Or what if that actually ends up resulting in them earning so much less money that they don't meet a quota and then they have to like cut back on certain things? Like that's possible, right? So I think a lot of it is internal. But yeah, what still blows my mind is how issues like lag are still around. This is just the way the game was initially created. I don't know what they would have to, like, yes, we could say this, but do you understand what they would have to do to fix the problem that is lag? I don't. Do you? Like, sure, we could say, oh my God, fix the lag. Okay, how? How do you fix it? I don't know. Do you know what goes into fixing something like that? I don't. But I imagine it's probably some like complete restructuring of how the game works, and I don't know if that's something that they're open to doing. How is matchmaking still this inconsistent? Yeah, matchmaking I think is something that they definitely have more control over for sure. By now, they should absolutely have the budget to run stable servers. Servers where you suffer the consequences of your bad connection, not your opponent. I don't know enough about the way that the game is built to really answer this. I know that they use, I think it's like Google servers or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how this works, so I don't know. Okay, I mean, but it's fair. Like, this is definitely fair because lag is one of the most off-putting things about the game for sure. All right, next. Oh my God. Let's see. With power creep, I can see just maybe though that the Legends 7th Anniversary Part 3 characters will be either gone or put to rest by Part 1 Legends Festival 25. Maybe, we'll see. I mean, every character gets treated differently. Beast Gohan was relevant for quite a while, actually. Majin Vegeta, relevant for quite a while. Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, relevant for quite a while. Ultra Janemba, not so much, UI Sign Goku got Super 17'd. Ultra Super Vegeta got coolered, right? I mean, there's different, it just depends on how they want to handle the characters. Power creep in the game is so powerful and makes a big difference. Yes. literally units that released from March, Ultra Cell are kind of starting to struggle because of Damage Guard. Cell's still good, but give it till September, and I think he's gone like with power creep, like Damage Guard and all that. I don't think he'll be able to keep up. Using Cell as an example, since he was the first Ultra this year for 2025. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think Cell will still have value just from the permanent endurance nullification for sure, but yeah, that's... The Damage Guard is getting higher, that's for sure. We can also talk about Daima. That team ruled the whole game from April to part 1 of 7th anniversary, who's now struggling somewhat. Yep. Yeah, that's true. But that's not really... It's not like a new concept. Right? If you look at like Ultra Golden Frieza dominated the game until the anniversary last year. And then the anniversary happened and this guy just got like crushed. It's not like a new thing that Daima dropping in March is going to be, you know, leaving the anniversary and still on top of things. That's not realistic based on what's happened in prior years, for sure. Best way I can sum this up is units are just relevant for a small amount of time from what I'm seeing right now. Like before, it was a good 6 to 9 months. This is like, this is an outlier. Like you can use Majin Vegeta as an example, but this is one of the longest lasting meta relevant characters we've ever seen. I mean, this is like using Ultra Janemba as an example of a character, or Ultra Broly. Dude, this is like using Ultra Broly as an example. Ultra Broly only lasted like 2 months. Yeah, because Beast Gohan dropped. The strongest character of all time dropped after Broly. Broly was relevant for 2 weeks. Yeah, because the biggest mistake in the history of the game dropped 2 weeks after this guy. This is like, sure, again, you can use Majin Vegeta as an example, but I really think this is just an outlier. Now I feel it'll be way less, like 3 to 4 months, than the unit is gone. Again, for a dominant character like Frieza, like Namek Goku, I think these characters will probably just be God for 2 months. Then they'll get countered, then they'll get harder countered later, and eventually they'll taper off. That's usually how it works, right? That's not new. We've seen that with you know, most like Vegito Blue, happened with him, happened with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, happened with Blue. Remember when they dropped Kid Buu and this guy just got creamed by Kid Buu? Happens with every character. So, I do love the game, but it seems like starting from now, you have to really save your CC for real and only summon on teams that you main. But that's been that way forever, especially if you're a free player, that's really what you should be doing anyway. Summoning for every character is the best way to pull nothing, because if you like, okay, I'm going 2000 CC in on Namek Goku. Oh, I didn't pull him. I'm going 2000 CC in on Kefla. Oh, I didn't pull her. I'm going 2000 CC in on the next LF. I didn't pull him. I'm going 2000. Like, there's perks on these banners for a reason. You're supposed to go into these banners specifically targeting characters and then using the benefits that you get from summoning on those banners to help you pull those characters. And that's only going to help you if you have a decent amount of CC going into those banners. That's why I always recommend people save mostly for the Legends Limited step-ups, because the formats are the best on those. But yeah, summoning on like every banner that drops is that's rough. Starting to get to that point. Talking for free-to-play players, mostly everyone just summons and then complains about the shaft not being able to... yeah, I mean, again, if you're free-to-play, the best way to play this game is to pick a team and then only summon for characters that help that team. Can you tell me what androids needs to be a top team? Well, I mean, they need to drop like a full android celebration, right? They could do like an android saga celebration, I guess. They could do... what would they do? Like an LF17 or something. They could just do new 1% sparkings. What if they did like an LF Piccolo that fought 17? We get a 1% sparking 17, then they give a Zenkai Awakening to the tag androids. Like, that honestly could be enough. It just depends on how they design the... like, if the characters suck, then clearly it's not going to help the team. But if they just make the characters ridiculous, then the team will be good. Androids, yeah, this is like Iron Kane's ult or something. I got everything 14-star Android except Ultra Cell. I got shafted very badly. 170k CC to get one copy of Ultra Cell. I don't know, is that true? That's a lot. Androids is a tough team to main, though. I mean, that's undoubtedly the case. If you're picking a team to main and you pick androids, like, you're gonna get like what, a buff every 6 months or something. Ultra Cell, the last like main buff before this guy was Super 17. Over a year before Cell dropped. Yeah. I mean, this team just doesn't really get tons of consistent buffs, right? I get it. Explain myself, I got shafted. Since we got no movies buffs for Anniversary, my anticipation for it have been all-time high. Yeah, me too. I think we're definitely going to get movie stuff soon. Oh my god, we're already 45 minutes into this? Jesus. I'm expecting a cooler movie campaign around September or so. Depends if they follow past schedule. And then more movies for festival. Fusing Super Gogeta is my want. There's just... I closed out of the tab. There's like a billion different things they could do for movies. Like, actually, there's 30 characters that could drop for movies. It's never ending. Hold on. Let me pull up movies here. So essentially, we could just get an LF version of like all of these characters. Beast Gohan, they could do a Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo. Ultra Turles, they could do an LF Turles. They could do an LF Golden Frieza. They could do an LF Janemba. They could drop 600,000 more copies of Gogeta Blue. This guy, they could just drop a stand. What if they did like a Broly and Paragus? What if it was a succession? It was Paragus. It's the character starts as Paragus. Actually, no. You know what it would be? It would be a Super Saiyan, a blue-haired Super Saiyan Broly, Paragus assist character, and then when they died, they successioned into legendary Super Saiyan Broly, and the animation is him crushing the pod of Paragus. Because we don't have an LF of movie 8 Broly. This Broly is movie 10 Broly. This is Second Coming. This is the first Broly movie. That could be a good version of this character we could get. We of course need a Synchro Gauge of Super Gogeta. I don't know if they'd do another version of this Goku. This is probably good enough. LF Bojack is definitely something we need. We definitely need a new LF or Ultra Beerus for sure. We could get a Transforming God Goku. We need actually 13 DBS Broly. Dude, DBS Broly is like, there's the meme of the guy, the kid drowning in the pool, and then the mom is holding up the baby. Broly is the skeleton. That's how neglected this character is. What are they doing with DBS Broly? This character could actually get 10 LFs. It's and also Ultras too. Talked about Blue Gogeta already. Talked about Beast Gohan. Orange Piccolo. We desperately need a standalone version of this guy for sure. We could get standalone LF Gamma 2, potentially. I don't know about Gamma 1, but Gamma 2, I could see it. A new transforming LF Final Form Cooler. We need an LF Metal Cooler. We could get a remake of the Dragon Fist from the DBZ movie 13. We could just get a straight up new version of Blue Goku and Vegeta from the DBS Broly movie. They could just do what if they did the first ever transforming tag character, Gods into Blues? That's the same character from the movie. We need a new version of Super Saiyan Goku from the Cooler's Revenge movie. This guy needs a Zenkai, and we need a new version of this guy. Maybe just a standalone Super Saiyan 2 Gohan from this movie. This guy needs a Zenkai for sure. What else? We need a tag Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta from the Metal Cooler movie. We need... Oh my god, we need a new Spirit Bomb absorbed Goku. We need a transforming Android 13. The first ever triple tag character. Goku, Trunks, and Vegeta from this Android 13 movie. We need a new family Kamehameha character against the movie 10 Broly. We could get a new Lord Slug. LF Lord Slug, whose LF animation is him going giant. That would be the least hype LF ever, though. But we could get this. But yeah, that's those are just some of the things we could get. By the way, we don't even have a tag Blue Goku and Vegeta from Resurrection F. It could also just be a succession one, it's Goku and then it succeeds into Vegeta or something. What else? A Goku from The World's Strongest. We need that. That Goku. If you guys haven't watched The World's Strongest movie, the best sequence from that movie is when Goku fights Dr. Wheelo's henchman. I forgot. It's his name is Ebifura or something. It's the animations on Goku's combos against that is really, really good. So that's a character we could definitely get. We could get a movie. This is the movie version of Garlic Jr. We could also just get like the normal non-movie version, the anime filler arc version of Garlic Jr. But there, yeah, again, like I said, there's actually like 30 plus characters that they could potentially drop for the movies team. So it's unlimited. I'm going to edit the Bonanza streams down into videos. Maybe. I'll think about it. I like the game so much that maybe we'll do this. The developers need to add more equipment slots soon. Yes, this is probably not something that most people are experiencing, but I mean, I'm trying to check right now. I have like 70 slots left, which sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. Okay, actually no, I have 80 slots left. I've got all 850 normal slots filled, and then the Legends Pass gets you 700 extra slots. Of those 700 extra slots, I have 620 slots filled. So I currently have, what is this, 1,470 equipment in my inventory. I mean, this game drops equipment rapidly every week. Every single week we get new equips. There's, something like next week, we're going to have a new PvP equip, a new co-op equip, and, potentially more. Potentially one for a new free-to-play character. Then the week after that, we're going to have, it's going to be a new Awakened equip and maybe something else. Like, there's constantly new equipments dropping. So yes, they definitely need to add more equipment slots. The more good equipment that come out, the more difficult it is to have enough space to hold all of them. Yes, 100%. This is something they need to do, and I've pushed for this. This could be the most boring meta ever. The game revolves around just 3 units. If you don't have even one of them, then you're cooked. That's not true. I mean, yeah, there's going to be the strongest team in the game, which I think is just these 2 plus Krillin. But I wouldn't say that if you don't have all 3 of these guys, you're cooked. That's definitely not the case at all. I think UI is still good. I mean, he gets hurt by Frieza, obviously. Kefla is actually pretty solid. I like Vegeta. Kaioken Goku's very good. That's actually better than most Part 3 Anniversary metas. Usually Anniversary metas in Part 3, you got the Ultra, you got like 2 other characters, and that's the meta. That's usually how it goes. Now it's a little bit better. Super Vegeta's also really good. Right, we have this guy. Hit is pretty solid still. The 2 Ultras. Majin Vegeta's like fringe viable. Kefla's good. UI's good. Both the Saiyan Saga characters are good. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. I think that's fine. It could be better, obviously. I'm not saying the meta is perfect. It could be better, but it's definitely been way, way worse. This is definitely not the most boring meta ever. No way. Feels like they hardly use any of their resources toward actually making events unique. I would say this is probably true. And the reason why they do this is because I think they realize that that's not where they're making the money from. Right? They used to do this. They used to come out with events where it was like the original series, and they used to have like pop-ups come up from like the show. It was like screen caps from the show, and it would have like, Dr. Gero encounters Goku, and then like this happened, and then that happened. They used to do stuff like that, but they just haven't done that in a long time. I think the reason why is just because they realized very fast after the game launch, like a year or 2 after the game came out, that most of their return on their investment into this game, in terms of development resources and time and everything, is coming from PvP. So they're targeting the areas of the game where they're going to be seeing the biggest return on their investment, which is PvP, which means they're going to be cutting back on areas that don't give them a big return, which, I mean, I don't know how you would even see a return on the story events. I mean, it's just, at the end of the day, story events are kind of just more free stuff. Like, you don't actually gain anything other than just enjoyment. And I feel like if you're going to be focusing on story in this game, there's just other Dragon Ball games you can be playing that would better encompass the story of Dragon Ball. Even in weeks where the game is objectively speaking not dry, it still feels like it because it's always the same stage format and always against the same easily circumvented AI. Yes, I mean, this is clearly somebody who's more invested in PvE, which I think is fine. I have been very vocal about this for a long time, that I think actually the biggest issue with the game as an app, as a product, the biggest problem is the PvE is terrible in this game. It really is. It's really, it's boring. It's super, super boring. I don't know how much stock they're putting into PvE. Again, just because that's not what the game is focused around. But I think the game would be a lot more well received by a lot of people if they put more effort into PvE. But the problem with that is I'm not really sure what their constraints are. Like if they decided, okay, let's actually try and make PvE events very interesting. We're going to change the way the AI works. We're going to, devote a lot of time and resources into PvE content. Is that going to detract from the PvP? Is it going to take away from animations on new characters? Is it going to take away from balancing the new characters? Like, what does their bottleneck look like on their development time and resources? I don't know. So it might be just the fact that they're, sitting down and mapping out what needs to be given priority. And I would imagine that 99% of the time, priority is being given to new characters, balancing, animations, art, all those things over new PvE events or revamped PvE events. I don't know for sure, but that's just what I'm assuming. I agree it would be cool to have better PvE in the game. And again, I think it is a major issue with the game, but I just don't think it's super high on their priority list. What do I think about the damage guard meta? I've already talked about that, so I guess we could just skip this. What do you think we should have more of? Wait, do you think we should have more of fusing Super Vegito unguessable rush on more units? I don't think they should just give that to like just a random unit, but if a character is going to be designed around the Rising Rush, then I think it should be something that they consider giving it to them. For example, Demon King Piccolo needed, not wanted, needed that mechanic. The fact that Demon King Piccolo can, have his entire kit essentially being built around the Rising Rush mechanic, and then you rush and it gets gassed, like it completely nullifies the entire point behind this character. So yes, I think there are certain characters that should have the mechanic, but I wouldn't say like, oh, they're gonna drop Ultra Full Power Frieza. All right, let's make his rush unguessable. Like, I don't think that's not the way that they should handle it. It should just be for specific characters that are designed around Rising Rushes. Since Namek release for part 3, what is a unit/saga you want to see come out in the near future? Definitely the Universe 6 versus 7 tournament. Blue Kaioken Goku and Hit is one for sure. I'm glad we got this guy, but we need an Ultra version of this character at some point. At this point, it's probably not going to happen for a while, just because this guy just dropped. But yeah. Also, we need the rest of the Daima characters. Mini Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Mini Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Mini Super Saiyan 3 Goku. We need a tag Ku and Do. We need Goma. Goma is actually a character I'm really looking forward to in the game, but I don't know how they're going to do that. Goma, I want to see what the supporter function looks like. I'm thinking maybe they get Giant Goma into the game as a supporter if they can't figure out a way to get him playable. But Goma is a character I'm looking forward to. A new Corrupted Fusion Zamasu I could definitely see as like an Ultra character for sure. I don't know why this guy was not a transforming unit. Fusion Zamasu, main ability, strikes himself with lightning, becomes Corrupted Fusion Zamasu. That would have been sick. That animation would look really, really good in this game. But yeah, I would want to see that. Cooler for sure. Probably Ultra Cooler is what I'm looking forward to the most now, honestly. Ultra Cooler. Eventually is going to happen, but yeah, there's a bunch of more characters that I definitely want to see more of. Also, Cooler Movie Goku, the first Cooler's Revenge movie, Super Saiyan Goku. I like that Goku a lot. Does Gogeta think Tag Pauline and Donkey Kong could be the next Legends Limited? Did you guys hear him just bark right now? I don't know why he's up. I'm recording this video at 2:42 a.m. It is now August 2nd. Yeah, okay. I have a camera on my phone. He's sleeping now, but I don't know. He just like maybe had a bad dream or something. I know this isn't Legends related, but will you ever do IRL content again? Yes. That's all I'll say. Remove any and all co-op modes and maybe think of implementing a 2v2 or 3v3 mode where your friend controls one character on the team. Yeah. Yeah, that could be cool. The only issue I could see with this is once you start getting 3, 4, 5 people involved, that greatly increases the chances of lag being an issue, right? The game is laggy enough with 2 players trying to connect. Imagine 4, 5, 6. That's the major issue I can see with this, but this is a cool idea. I like this. Legends has never been as much of a numbers game since the DB celebration. I think he just means in terms of like the damage guard and damage inflicted numbers. Yeah, because they haven't really jacked those stats up until recently. The new direction they're taking with units of making their kits simple and giving the bulky stats is backfired. I believe they actually peaked with the Gohan and Trunks, Zamasu and IT Goku balanced kit and all right stats. Everything after and before was a mess. Again, my take on this is they just have to focus on what the teams need, right? Their first focus when they design a character, in terms of their objective for designing a character, when they sit down to design Kefla, their first, I mean, I don't know how it actually works. Like, what do they sit down in a room and have like a whiteboard and they're like, okay, what are we gonna make this? Like, what is this character going to do? You create a list. Okay, LF Super Saiyan 2 Kefla's coming out. Point 1, point 2, point 3. What do we want her to do? Point 1. If your point under number 1 is buff universe reps, what is point 2 going to be? The answer is be a tank. Right? It's just logical, right? Your objective of Kefla, helping the universe reps team, doesn't get fulfilled by making her a damage dealer. So that's the problem here, right? I like the design choice of making Kefla super mega focused on one aspect, like super crazy good damage dealer. That's what she is, essentially. She's almost a 100% offensively focused unit, which is good because I think that actually does fulfill what they said they were going to focus on with this new design philosophy. However, that doesn't help the team, and that should be another thing that they look at. In fact, it's probably even more important than doing that, right? So instead of having a character where it's like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who's like the best damage dealer in the game, the best tank in the game, like best disrupt in the game, like all these different things, we have a character like Kefla who's just like super mega focused on damage, and hopefully that's what the team needs when she drops. Unfortunately for Kefla, at this time it wasn't. Universe Reps doesn't really need, well, I guess technically Universe Reps could use more damage, but the huge gap in the team was a defensive issue. So that's the problem here. And then again, teams like Saiyan Saga didn't have that problem. Frieza Saga doesn't have that problem. So that's really the issue here. Do more game original characters, more events, and hear the community like when they released God Goku. Some fans have great ideas. Yeah, I mean, game originals, we've been pushing for that for years. I don't know really what's going on with that. I guess we'll see. To me, it's just a scrapped idea at this point. I think we'll do these 4, and then I think we'll be good. We're over an hour in. Wow, this went longer than I thought it would go. The most fun I've ever had with Legends was when units didn't have absurd mechanics or insane damage. Nowadays, every character kills in a single combo. I think it was more fun back in the day when you had to constantly outplay your opponent and get them into multiple combos. That's, I think, what they're trying to do. But it's tough when you have full power Frieza comboing universe reps with 0 defense. What does the universe reps team do against this character? Like, legitimately, what do they do? There's no way to survive. So the team needed, imagine if Kefla was just like some, maybe she does like very, very low damage, but she's got like 260% damage guard. She's got disrupt, and she's got like, cost increase and buff removal and endurance. But in return, she's doing like very, very low damage. That would have helped this team way more than I think designing Kefla the way that she is now, even though I do think she is very good here. It's just not what the team needed. So that's what they should be focusing on, right? I think one actual issue here is they give characters like Kefla. Okay, Kefla has 180% damage guard, and then she's giving damage guard support here. Okay, Kaioken Goku, he's got 180% damage guard, and he's stacking damage guard elsewhere in his kit. Okay, we have Saiyan Saga Vegeta. He's got 170% damage guard. He's getting more damage guard elsewhere in his kit. Okay, we have Evolution Blue Vegeta. What do you got? Evolution Blue Vegeta's got 180% damage guard. So basically they're giving all these characters the same amount of damage guard. I think what they should do is they should be changing these numbers based on what the character is supposed to do, right? They drop I don't know, let's just make it up. We get a movie celebration in August. The first LF character we get in the movie celebration is LF Metal Cooler. The entire identity of LF Metal Cooler is to be a defensive menace. LF Metal Cooler comes out. Instead of LF Metal Cooler having 270% damage, maybe he's got 220% damage, but he's got 230% damage guard here, and he's got multiple ways of disrupting, and he's got endurance and, you know, all those kinds of mechanics, but he's got like no card on entry, no key on entry, maybe he doesn't have cover null on entry. That's, I think, what they should be more focused on here. Create identities for characters based around the role that they need to fulfill for their teams to be good. That's what they should do. Why are they against Zenkais? They could have Zenkai'd so many Tournament of Power characters. Back to horrible equip days now. Mega Bonanza should be a weekly event. Why are they giving Ultra Full Power Frieza so much? 3 times the rates and new support for easy power, but UI Namek, Ultra Namek Goku doesn't even have a decent equips. He's gotten some good equips. Let's go. Is there a way to see? I don't know if there's this website has this function. I might tell Hydrus to add this, but yeah. It would be cool to actually wait. What is this? Tag. Oh, actually, yeah, you can see this tag-based equips. This equip is good. We got recently an Awakened equip. This one is good. And then if you want to build them defensively, you can use this one is good. So he's gotten some decent ones recently. There's also the PvP one from when he dropped the angry Goku one. Where is it? Let's see it. It's pretty good. It's this one, purely defensive. But I mean, he's got some good equips now. But clearly, I mean, come on, you got to know this. Clearly, the reason why they gave Frieza more rates is because they expect more people to summon for Goku. Duh. I mean, that's obvious. I think at the very least, regular Bonanzas should be Legends Weekend. I've been saying this for a long time now. I've been saying this for since like the 5th anniversary. Bonanzas should just be up every weekend for Legends Weekend. It should be part of Legends Weekend. I don't know why it's not. It's stupid. Frost is cool, and everyone who says otherwise is wrong. He's not very good. Frost is not very good. Okay, last one. I feel like the fact that we're at a point where we can get only easy CC during big celebrations is not good. Is that true? We should be able to have enough crystals to summon on units we want throughout the year, as well as the celebrations. They need to stop gatekeeping events. Is that true? Can you not get easy CC during normal celebrations? You can only get easy CC during big celebrations. I mean, it's possible, or it's not possible. It's clear that they're going to give out more CC during the big celebrations. That's like, you know, the whole point behind them being big celebrations. I'm pretty sure the way that they view it is they view a big selling point of the Anniversary and Legends Festival celebrations is the fact that they give out so much free stuff during those celebrations. That's a big part of the celebrations. I think when it comes to free CC, you know, slot removers, souls, every kind of resource that exists in the game, you can always want more, right? They could give out 1,000 CC and you could say, okay, but sure, it should have been 1,500. They could give out 1,500 CC, but then you could say, okay, that's cool, but it should have been 2,000. They could give out 2,000 CC, and then you could say, okay, that's cool, but it should have been 2,500, right? So you can do this forever. What they do is they have a specific amount of CC budgeted to be given out each celebration. So before the anniversary even happens, right, going into the 7th anniversary in the middle of May, before the anniversary even starts, they already have a predetermined amount of CC that they're going to be giving out until the end of the anniversary. That's how the game works, right? We currently don't know what the celebration is going to be this month in August. We don't know. Nobody knows. But the developers already have a set number of resources that they're planning on giving out this month. That's how it works. So you could always argue that should have been more. They should have done this. They should have done that. And I'm okay. Like, sure, I agree. The more, the better. That's usually how it works in these kinds of games. The more, the better. The more characters, the better. The more Zenkais, the better. The more equipments, the better. Like, usually it's just the more is almost always better. You know, more animations, the better. Whatever it is. But I don't know if this is true. You can only get free CC, or sorry, you can only get easy CC during big celebrations. We should be able to have enough CC to summon on units we want throughout the year. But what does this mean? We should be able to have enough CC to summon on units we want throughout the year. Does that mean you want to be able to pull every character throughout the year just by, you know, getting free CC? Because if that's the case, then the game doesn't exist. If that's the case, the game goes out of business very fast. So they have a balance, right? How much CC do we give out while still being able to maintain, you know, X% profit margin on our in-game sales or the web store sales? So that's their thought process behind that. But I get it. I mean, obviously everybody wants more free stuff for sure. All right, well, I think we're going to end here. I might actually come back to this thread. There's a lot of responses here. I might come back and just like hit the refresh button and do another video on this, just because there's a lot here that we haven't looked at, and also just because this is just general sentiments about the game, not really focused on like a specific thing that happened in the game. So a longer one, an hour and 12 minutes. Let me know down below what you guys think of this. What are your current thoughts on the game, and how did you guys like the anniversary now that it's over? And what do you guys want to see in August? Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next one.